idea. A little bit of a bluff, if you will. No challenge on this one. College Rubin at the end line. Roll shot. Smart placement by Rubin.
When in doubt, that donut or campfire is a very high percentage shot.
Now Rubin, after that smart, slowed down look, comes to the end line. Tuaninga bumped high. Weejay got that one to fall. Look at Weejay, able to find the floor.
That was nice.
Yeah,
nice
go ahead,
swing
Jackson.
to the seam.
Moving to Troy up 8-4. Back to Baird. She paints it inside that corner.
Stanford has been rock solid in serve receive this far into the first set.
Well, something they do so well. It's been a huge key for them all season long, not just serving and providing pressure from the end line, but also ensuring that they're not hurt based on opponent's serves.
Exactly. They're only averaging getting aced once a set this whole season, which is impeccable.
I mean, it starts with the training, right? When I spoke to head coach Kevin Hambley, he said, we face our serves every day in practice. So at some points during a match, it feels like we're getting time off rather than the pressure is on.
That couldn't be more true. Facing the toughest serves in practice every day will only prepare you for the match even more.
And this Stanford team is just such a strong service squad. Rubin bumps it high. Now it's Caitlin Smith into high hands, wrenched out wide.
Very smart swing by Katie Smith in transition there. Going for the high hands, when in doubt. It's one of the best swings to go for.
Katie Smith, her second kill of the day here. Smart swing, able to angle it off hands. Heads up play by Tuaninga. Free ball makes its way. They call that in. Brad Keller saw it. Point blank range. She will not play a challenge card. Hey, it was a close, but it just kisses the line. Stanford looking to power back as the women of Troy have taken an early lead. Set one action. Smith. Backdoor to Kibb. She throws down the hammer. Cami Minor started out this service rotation. Had 6 aces against UCLA just a couple of nights ago. Punched over the top, and it doesn't make its way to the floor. What a great diving stab for the Cardinal. Williams into hands. That's a heck of a point, maybe a momentum shifter. Minor, whose father was an All-American basketball player here at USC. He was drafted 12th overall in '92. She kept it in system. Back to the outside. Baird is rejected. How about the roof from Williams? Now Tyra Ariel, ball in hand. Smith had a stationary punch, then Williams able to place it right over the top of the tape.
That was such a smart shot by Smith right there. Tipping to the donut and getting the setter out of the play. And that forces the Stanford Cardinal to be out of system.
Try not to do too much there either. Heads up play with Ariel at the end line. Again, 9 straight matches with at least one ace. Back to the outside. Kip throws it down.
It's going to be tough to stop Kip one-on-one.
No doubt about it. She's got 5 straight matches and double-digit kills. Kendall Kip, a true contender for National Player of the Year honors, as this #2 Stanford team has just 3 losses on the year. Bumped up high, straight into the hands. Caitlin Smith had nowhere to go. Kip teams up with McKenna Vincini for that block. Now, over the course of her career, Kendall Kip, after that block, has 338 total blocks. Only 7 of those have come solo. It's a testament to how good the middles are at closing things out pin to pin. So the service error from Katie Baird gives the ball right back to Ellie Snook. Snook, who is a 3-time Big Sky Libero of the Year during her time with Portland State. Backdoor Kip, what a smart tip that just doesn't really make its way over. But had that snuck over the top of the tape, it would have been trouble.
Snook's been having an awesome season for the Trojans. She's even had some starts at Libero this season over Gala Trubin a couple times. And whenever she comes into the game, she's always getting digs in the back row and passing dimes.
Man, it's a luxury to have a couple of liberos on this squad that are just so solid. Caitlin Smith, wide on the sharp angle swing. Back to the service line is Elena Ogilvie. An 8-time Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week, Ogilvie lofts that one over. Back row attack, in! Oh man, a block that nearly cascaded over the entire floor, but it drops down and the Cardinal are within 2. Ogilvie, the 5'10" senior out of Honolulu, spent 3 seasons with Army. Back to Miller, no dice on the swing. Trubin out of system. Tuaninga with the roll shot that doesn't go, picked up by Kip. Heads up, change up look. Trubin bumps it high on the knee slide. Oh man, those are the 2 liberos and a luxury at that. But the Cardinal finish it off. Sammy Francis, who's back into the match, able to throw down the hammer. She's 6'6" and utilizes that size. Cardinal with 3 straight points. Miller goes for the soft tap, picked up by Ogilvie. Back to the outside long. And the women of Troy up 15-13.
One thing I want to point out here is Miller and Francis used to play against each other in high school.
And more to come from that when we continue. We'll be right back. It's #2 Stanford against #24 USC. Hello, everybody. Welcome back inside Los Angeles. Hey, it's the Galen Center, and you can see it's a party. Women of Troy up 15-13, #24 USC over #2 Stanford in a top 25 matchup. Despite the women of Troy without one of the best attackers in the country, Skylar Fields is second in kills per set in the entire NCAA, but not in action tonight. Hey, that hasn't stopped the land of Troy. It's Caitlin Smith who fires one over, and the ace right out of the break. That next man up mentality, exactly what they preach here in the land of Troy. Kept in system, the flick back to Kip, who couldn't put it down. The free ball makes its way on a yellow light swing from Smith on the back row attack. Roll shot, Trubin lays out for it. There's Miller up and around the bend. Kip steps into one, power tip, drops right in front of the diving Smith. Danny Thomas Nathan back in for Caitlin Smith here as the Cardinal earn the side out and the ball in possession. Float serve picked up by Danny Thomas Nathan, bumped up high. Weejay has to twist one down. She'll send it long, and the Cardinal pull within a piece. Kip averaging near an ace per set. Those are electric numbers. Leads the Pac-12. Weejay straight to the corner and down. Able to color inside the lines.
Very smart swing by Weejay on that play. Swing to the corners, out of system is always a high percentage shot. And that time it works.
Now Gala Trubin after that smart swing from London Weejay. Oh, a roofed block, but it stays high. Another punch shot, that time Weejay able to get low. Played middle for Ariel, no dice. Ariel again, that's down! The aerial attack from Tyra Ariel.
It's impressive to see Cami Minor running her offense still on that fast tempo, even when she's off the net like that. She was standing about 15 feet off and she's setting the go ball to Elia Rubin.
Big reason why she's the reigning Pac-12 setter of the year. She seems to do things that nobody else can. Overpass, joust won by Minor and the Cardinal. Sent to the outside, Weejay goes for the loft shot, no dice. Another hard swing on the outside. Kendall Kip.
I got to give kudos to Mia Tuaninga on that set as well. Medium system, flowing to the pin. Very impressive.
Yeah,
We got
to be two of the best setters in the
100%.
Pac-12. At least up there, right?
Most definitely.
Of course, Cami Minor, who leads the entire nation in assists per set this season. Such a fun player to watch, man.
Yeah, both SoCal natives, too. Mia went to Mater Dei High in Santa Ana, California. Cami Minor is from South Bay here, Redondo Beach, went to Redondo Union. These two have squared off multiple times. I know that for a fact.
And two perennial high school powerhouses as well.
Yes.
Now Tuaninga. Mia Tuaninga last year led all players in the Pac-12 with 58 aces. She's one of those players that is do or die from the service line. She'll certainly apply pressure, but with that comes a little bit of risk, and sometimes you'll see those service errors. Anna Pringle in for the first time today. And a bad reception, just a reception error, if you will, from London Weejay.
Kudos to Anna Pringle coming in off the bench and getting an ace. That's impressive.
First ace of the day for the Cardinal. That said, London Weejay has really improved her defense as of late. Again, 4 straight matches with double-digit digs. Something to keep an eye on. Williams had the chance on the outside. Swung back to Baird, and that'll fall. It's even at 19 apiece despite the Trojans coming out and taking a 10-5 lead early on in the first set. This one is about as even as it can be. Pringle with her 3rd straight serve here. Weejay on the serve receive. Tuaninga. Danny Thomas, Nathan Long. And it's the first lead of the day for the Cardinal. At some point, you would think that the no-show from Skylar Fields would certainly catch up to the Trojans. Looks like Stanford has retaken the lead, and with that, maybe some of the momentum, Jackson.
Yeah, 100%. I think Stanford might have came in thinking they had a easy game without Skylar Fields in there for the Trojans, but Trojans have some depth, and they showed up today. You know, this is going to be a team win for the Trojans, given everything keeps going their way.
If they can pull it off, sure.
Right. Even though they are down.
Caitlin Smith is certainly impressed. She showed some confidence coming into this matchup, and anytime you got a Tom Brady situation, right? somebody's injured, a star player injured, you come in, you got to show off and do your best to prove that you earned those minutes. I think that's exactly what Caitlin Smith is going for today. You could see this Galen Center loves it, man. It's noon here, right around that on first serve on a Sunday afternoon. Nobody wants to get brunch. Everybody wants to come here instead of their mimosas. And a total pleasure to have you all with us along for the ride as number 2 Stanford leads number 24 USC here in the first set of action. Today, the Stanford Cardinal can clinch sole possession of the Pac-12 crown with a win. Currently, they have earned at least a share of the Pac-12 crown. Yet Oregon with 3 games back in the standings. If Oregon wins out and Stanford loses out, which it would take them to lose 3 matches, they have only lost 3 all season, so highly unlikely. But mathematically, they have not secured that sole possession of the championship crown quite yet. It's Hannah Pringle to get it back into play, and she'll hit the net, so we're even at 20.
Great timeout by Brad Keller, forcing Hannah Pringle to miss out of the timeout.
Desperately needed that side out.
Coach's point.
Coach's point. Great way to think about it. Yeah, Jackson, you mentioned, hey, this Cardinal team might have come in, realized Skylar wasn't playing, thought they had an easy win. Nothing comes easy here in the Galen Center or against Caitlin Smith.
Katie Smith showing up to play today, that's for sure.
Big smile on the face of number 11 as the women of Troy have re-swiped the lead. It's Weejay who rifles one through. Minor back in system, and a hard swing from Kip finds the hardwood. .21 apiece with Minor at the end line. Again, 6 aces off that performance against UCLA 2 nights ago. The flick back to Williams, couldn't put it down. Baird had a soft tip over the top that doesn't go. Weejay ducks down for another dig. Williams tries to tool it out. Great defense to set up that yellow light swing where Weejay covers the rover. Williams into hands, and the tool wide.
Those high hand swings have been working for the Trojans all day.
Got to give credit to Tuaninga. Beautiful set, understanding her team, knowing exactly where to place that ball.
Oh, yeah.
Now Tyra Ariel at the end line. Ariel's got 18 aces this season. Tuaninga bumped up high. Ariel out of system. Smith has to step into a 2/4 swing. Halfway shot. And that's a smart swing on the outside from Kendall Kip. Player whose numbers don't necessarily match Skylar Fields, but hey, that's not saying much. Almost nobody's do. Aside from that, she slows the game down and hits an incredibly high clip. That's why she's in the conversation for National Player of the Year honors. 22 apiece, neither team giving an inch. It's Baird. Weejay, back row attack, over high hands, kept in system. Minor flicks it back. Tuaninga this time plays middle, and it'll be a net violation based on what I saw.
Miller and Smith did a great job there, developing a well-formed block and slowing down the Cardinal offense.
Ellie Snook sneaks back in the lineup. She's at the end line. That caught fingertips at the net. And a chance for Caitlin Smith to put it away. In, right along the edge. Aaliyah Rubin able to snipe one down, even at 23. Elena Ogilvie, ball in hand, has 1 service error in every single match this season so far. Float serve over the top, picked up by Trubin. Tracked back, and Miller with a powerful right-handed strike.
That slide attack's been very effective for the Trojans all season.
The entire Galen Center has risen to its feet. USC with set point on number 2 Stanford. But the service ace from Caitlin Smith gives the ball right back, and with that, the set point as well. Kendall Kipp. Thomas Nathan on the serve receive, looking for Miller again.
DTN putting it on the money for Mia Tuaniga. And Lindsay Miller back on the slide for her second kill in a row.
DTN's been working at that serve receive all season long. That time as smooth as ever to set up this possession for Trubin. Galich Rubin, ball in hand. To the outside, she's rejected. It stays with the Cardinal here. Another chance, they call it in. Just snuck into the line and maybe got a touch on the way. The kill from Aaliyah Rubin. Rubin at the end line has career highs in kills percent, hitting percentage, aces percent, digs percent, blocks percent, everything in between. But that time goes a little bit long, and another set point for the women of Troy. This time, can they finish it off? Mia Tuaniga, last season a Pac-12 all-conference team selection. Led the conference in aces last year with 58. That time, sent it long, trying to do a little too much. Women of Troy have now had, 3 straight set points back-to-back?
Yes. Anna Pringle back into the game to serve.
She went on a run last time she was back there. WJ with a tough serve receive. She gets it right back and splits the seam.
WJ making up for her odd assist and pass with the kill.
WJ's got her 4th of the day. Take a look at this. Straight through the block, and they normally able to drop those hands so well and read it, but
that was that high seam swing. That's been a very high percentage swing historically in volleyball.
So after the high seam, it's WJ who had the serve. Back to the outside here. Trubin ducks down. Now it's Smith. Can she put it away? And the women of Troy up 1-0 over number 2 Stanford, despite being without one of the best hitters in the country. So USC is protecting the land of Troy. Does it stay that way? Stick around to find out. More to come on Pac-12 Insider. Now, if you told me today that Skylar Fields would be inactive, I'm not sure if anybody inside the Galen Center would have expected USC to take that first set over number 2 Stanford, but here we are, and the unthinkable just came true. Max Kelton here alongside Jackson Reed, and number 24 USC leads Stanford 1-0. As we head to the second set of action, Jackson, what have you seen today?
USC's coming out hot without Skylar Fields. They got that chip on their shoulder, and it is really fun to watch. They've been passing in system, handling Stanford's tough serving, and just establishing the middle and running the slides with Lindsay Miller has been very successful for the Trojans. Stanford has not had an answer for Lindsay Miller on the slide thus far.
And Lindsay Miller has been about as sharp as ever. 4 kills, 7 chances, 571 hit percentage. On the other end, for number 2 Stanford, Kendall Kipp leads the charge with 6 kills and a 294 clip. But they've read her well. One thing to keep in mind, this block for the Cardinal is about as lethal as ever. And you look at how well Kipp is able to close the window. Her and McKenna Vincini, each with a pair of blocks apiece. And
yeah, I also got to give credit to Mia Tuaniga and Kalia Williams for holding down the Stanford outside hitters. Aaliyah Rubin's only hitting 143, and Katie Barrett is hitting 0 right now, so that's huge for the Trojans.
Talking about making the most of your 15 minutes. How about that little dance right there? You gotta love the energy inside the Galen Center as Trojan Faithful is electric here on this Sunday matinee action. It's 28-26 through the first set, second set about to get underway. London Weejay has possession at the service line, and the women of Troy up in this top 25 matchup. Let's see if it sticks that way. Float serve picked up by Baird, back to the outside, trying to get Rubin involved. Now, Stanford all-time is 71-24 against USC and has won the last 12 over the women of Troy. They swept USC in October and hit 402 during that matchup. USC's most recent victory against Stanford came back in 2015. Tuaninga able to dig that one high, and that's out. Heads up play from Caitlin Smith.
The team hitting average of anything over 350 is considered great, and hitting 402, that's impeccable.
Yeah, that 402 match in Palo Alto was just a terrific showing for the Cardinal, and one that the women of Troy really wanted to forget. But USC always seems to play the Cardinal tough, especially at home. Last season, they pushed it to 5, but the Cardinal came out on top. Another block, that time just a bit wide. Williams thought she caught Rubin's hands on the way down.
Rubin's coming out hot in the second set. She's 2 for 2 on kills right now. Get her more involved in the offense throughout the match.
Yeah, Rubin's one of those players who has played at about the highest level anybody could.
Yeah, another SoCal native, too. She's from Santa Monica, California, went to Marymount High School over by UCLA.
And a great job from Rubin to close out with Sammy Francis right there. 6'6" from Francis. That's the largest stature of anybody on the floor today. Kendall Kipp, ball in hand. She's right behind at a 6'5" stand. Back to the outside for Caitlin Smith. Popped up a mile high.
Off the head of Francis.
Miller, middle play. Baird pops it with her left. Smith on the change-up shot. Sharp angle cut, and Caitlin Smith able to get that left punch on it. A bit long on the roll shot.
Smart shot by L.A. Rubin there, but an even better pickup from Katie Smith.
Gaucho's playing sharp defense, unable to stave off this attack from the Cardinal, however. Yeah, the women of Troy looking sharp, man, but just haven't been able to handle the serve receive, you know, and that was something that they did really well in the first set. Right there, another ace for Kendall Kipp. She leads the Pac-12.
There's a reason she leads it.
And it's mental mistakes right here.
A little misconnection from Mia and Lindsay on that play.
We'll stick with you right here, not going anywhere. After USC swiped the first set, Stanford has come back with a vengeance, 6-1 here in the second. Not going anywhere. What have you seen differently from this Cardinal team?
The service pressure, most definitely, and the Trojans have let off the gas a little bit. Think they might be getting a little comfortable being at home and up 1, but that's no excuse to go down 6-1 in the second set. They need to come back out with some fire and keep passing in system, run those middles, and get those pins isolated one-on-one.
Yeah, this offense flows so well through Cammie Minor, who works so closely with this associate and supporting staff, coaching staff team. You know, she's one of those players who works with Alex Dunphy, and they just game plan so hard for what they're doing. And all 5 of the attackers on the Stanford team, they need a different ball. She's able to adjust to each and every one of those. Got to be in the conversation, not just for a back-to-back Pac-12 Setter of the Year honor, but maybe even National Setter of the Year honors.
Yeah, there's a reason Stanford's in the top 5 almost every year and going far in the tournament almost every year.
Well, the Stanford team opened the season ranked number 3 in the country. They fell as far as number 5, but nothing less, and currently ranked number 2 in the NCAA. Kendall Kipp back at the end line. Had an ace a moment ago. Women of Troy looking to get anything to fall. Can't buy a point here. Kipp over high hands and through the block. Hey, it's Caitlin Smith, and she is roofed. Just speaking about Cammie Miner, and then she'll elevate and send it back where it came from. Much needed sign out for the women of Troy. Despite USC leading the match 1-0, Stanford is hitting twice as efficiently. Women of Troy just got to clean up those errors, and even from the service line, every one of those shots that goes a bit long, just giving a free point to this Stanford team, and frankly, you need every one of them to
Most
beat
definitely.
number 2 in the
From a
nation.
player's perspective, we always talk about making over 95% of our float serves in the court. So when you're floating, that ball's got to go in.
Yeah, and that float serve from Ellie Snook went long to give the ball right back. And then just a miscue right there. Hey, this team looks different than the one we saw in the first set. Cardinal running away with the second set of action. Aaliyah Rubin, ball in hand. Rubin's got 29 aces this season. And that's her 73rd service error.
Regarding service ace to service error ratio, you want to have 1 ace to at least 3 errors. So I'd say Ellie Rubin's doing a great job on the season with that, 29 to 73.
Just a bit long again. Yeah, you know, Rubin and this whole Cardinal team, of course, they stress the service pressure. Try and serve so aggressively and then try and reap those benefits. But of course, it comes with risk as well. 10-3 Stanford. London Weejay caught hands on the way up. Now it's paired. She twists one to the back row. Overpass, and Weejay able to put it down. Women of Troy can't go point for point. Got to start working runs. And Galich Rubin at the end line. She might be the player to do so. Trubin last season was an all Pac-12 honorable mention and an all-freshman team selection. Oh, what a heck of a set right there. Back to Vincini. Cammie Miner makes it look effortless. Able to angle that ball exactly where she needs it. And now Miner, ball in hand. Weejay. They'll call it in. Kevin Hamley doesn't agree. Looks like he's not reaching for that challenge. Oh, I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. They're challenging a touch play on the call. He faked me out, Jackson.
Yeah, me too.
So we'll see our first challenge of the day from the Stanford Cardinal. Remember, each team starts the day with 2 challenges. If you challenge the play and it's overturned, you retain that challenge the rest of the way. If you challenge a play and the call stands, that challenge goes away.
That swing's been very common from London Weejay's arsenal all season. She, when she gets in doubt, I oftentimes see her turning it down the line, hoping to catch some fingers for a tool.
And it was pretty close to it. I'm not sure if that ball landed in, but they're challenging that there was a touch or, frankly, not a touch on the play.
It's a high percentage shot. If you can get those outside fingers, like the pinky and that right ring finger on that right side hitter, you're going to get a kill most of the time.
And Weejay has been maybe the go-to player today for the women of Troy. She's got 5 kills. That's a team high. One thing to pay attention to, Kendall Kipp got through the first set with 6 kills. Second set doesn't have one yet. But a lot of those points for the Cardinal in this set have come off of errors, unforced errors maybe for the women of Troy.
Yeah, and volleyball is a game of mistakes. With those unforced errors, you're just giving the team points and giving them a reason to win. Hence why Stanford's up 11-5 right now.
Both teams trying to apply that pressure from the end line, but with that comes risks. Combined 2 aces today to a combined 12 errors from the service line.
Yeah, and that's a 1-to-6 ratio. We want to at least have a couple more aces in there to make it worth justifying.
After review, there was no touch on the play. The call is overturned, and Kevin Hambley and Stanford retain their 2 challenges rest of the way.
The challenge for Stanford successful. There was no touch off that ball, so Stanford now back on top 12-4. Cami Miner continuing the serve. Handled by Snook. Over past Joust at the net. USC with another chance, setting up to Aninga on the right. Tries to work it off the block, but misses it. And so Cardinal with a large lead here, 13-4. This match all shades of the one against UCLA, as this is a similar story. Cami Miner continuing to serve. Handled by Snook to Aninga to Thomas Nathan out of the back row. And that is terminal. Good set choice by Tuaninga. Thomas Nathan checking in mostly as a DS. But don't underestimate her hitting. She's 6 feet, clearing the net on her swing. She registers the kill. Stanford still leading 13-5 here in the second set. Tuaninga on the serve. Baird handles well. Miner sets up Kip on the left. Off the block, covered by Rubin. Baird setting up Kip again. Works it off the block. Trubin bump set to Weejay, rolling. Ogilvy there with the dig. Miner to Kip on the left again. Finds the cross court, and that's down. Katie Baird with some nice hands there in that set, setting up Kendall Kipp. Not on the swing that she registered the kill on, but the one prior. Looked nice coming off her hands. Katie Baird showing she can also set. Stanford gets the point. They lead at 14-5, and it's Baird now at the service line for the Cardinal. Handled by Weejay to Aninga to Ariel in the middle. And that is just paintbrushed on the sidelines. Give the kill to Tyra Ariel. Just coming out swinging out of the middle. USC trails 6-14. As back to serve for USC is Weejay, handled by Baird. Miner to Kip on the right, works it off the block of Caitlin Smith and out. Give the point to Stanford. Kendall Kipp registers another kill. Stanford on top 15-6. Elena Ogilvy now back to the service line for the Cardinal. 5'10" libero out of Honolulu, Hawaii. Tough serve to Aninga. Bump sets out to Smith. Ogilvy there in the cross court with the dig. Miner pushing it to Rubin. And between the seam of the block and down, give the kill to Elia Rubin. Stanford on top by 10. 16-6. Brad Keller wants another timeout. And so we'll be right back with more action soon from the Galen Center. Out of the USC timeout, Stanford leading handedly 16-6 here in the second set after they dropped the first set to USC 26-28. They've just come out swinging, especially Elia Rubin and Kendall Kipp leading the Stanford offense. Kipp with 8 kills, Rubin with 6. Ogilvy continuing to serve. Tough serve handled by Weejay to Aninga out to Williams on the right, tipping, dug by Baird. Minor to the right with Kip, off the block, dug by Weejay, overpass. Sammy Francis just hammers that down. And so Cardinal continues to roll. They're up 17-6. Ogilvy, the reigning Pac-12 Libero of the Year, and last year an All-American honorable mention. Tape clips the net, and the lucky bounce allows it to fall. Give the ace to Elena Ogilvy. Stanford leading 18-6. USC trying to hope to gain some momentum at the end of the set, as it's pretty much out of their hands. And that serve by Ogilvy goes into the net, returning from, instead of the short soft serve, to a little bit of a jump float hybrid with lots of side spin on it. That one just not clearing the net as Tyra Ariel goes back to serve for the Trojans, the middle blocker. Handled by Ogilvy. Minor to Francis in the middle. That's off Ariel and out of bounds. And you got to call that a serving mistake. You're serving the libero, Elena Ogilvy. She dimes the pass to Cami Minor. She's able to run Sammy Francis in the middle. Efficient offense for Stanford. They're on top 19-7. Kendall Kipp now with the serve. And she registers her second ace of the match. Kendall Kipp continuing to be a force from the service line. Stanford on top 27, although USC on top overall in the match, 1-0. Kendall Kipp again, handled by Weejay. Tuaninga sets up Miller. Stanford is called into the net, so USC will get the point. They trail 8-20. And Ellie Snook, the 5'7" graduate transfer from Portland State, will check in the serve. Handled well by Ogilvy. Minor to Francis on the slide, but Danny Thomas Nathan, a force at the net, gets the block. Stanford still leading over the Trojans 29. Ellie Snook continuing to serve. This one handled by Baird. Minor back to Francis on the slide, tipping. Trubent there with the dig to Aninga, out to Thomas Nathan. Baird is there with the dig. Joust at the net. And they'll call Elia Rubin into the net, but she is saying, I did not touch it. Kevin Hambley is going to let it go. His squad is on top largely, still leading 2010. Elia Rubin upset about that one, though. She does not agree. Snook continuing to serve. This one handled by Rubin. Minor back out to Rubin. And that hit is long, so USC, watch out. They're on a run here. They trail 11-20. Handled by Rubin. Minor, an emergency bump set. Free ball for USC. Tuaninga all options. Goes to Miller on the quick back one. And USC on a 4-0 run. Kevin Hambley wants a timeout. And I'll tell you, I'm getting deja vu from Stanford's game versus UCLA on Friday, which they dropped the first set, came out swinging in the second set early, and then UCLA went on a little run before Stanford was able to clean it up and end the set. We'll be right back with more volleyball here soon from the Galen Center.
My teenage son only has one brain, and it'll keep developing through his mid-20s. But if he uses e-cigarettes, the nicotine in them can impact attention, learning, and memory, and can prime the brain for addiction. So I've talked to him about staying away from e-cigarettes, because my son only has one brain.
Learn more at cdc.gov/e-cigarettes today. A message from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and this station.
Kevin Hambley calling a timeout here. Maybe to ice the server, Ellie Snook, give the Stanford team some time to just settle down. They still lead largely 20-12 here in this second set. They dropped the first set to USC and deuce 26-28. Came out swinging here. I've cooled off a little bit. Still leading handedly though. So out of the timeout, it's Snook, the defensive specialist, serving for the Trojans. Gets it on Rubin. Minor to Kip out of the Bic. Works it off the block and down. You need a side out. Minor finds Kendall Kip. That's usually money. Stanford on top, 21-12. And it'll bring Elia Rubin back to serve for the Cardinal. Tough serve. Generates an overpass, and Sammy Francis puts it down. A tough serve caught Galatrubin off guard. She had to dive to make a play on it. Puts the ball over the plane of the net. Sammy Francis, that's easy pickings for her. Stanford leads 22-12. This one handled by Snook to Aninga. Out to Thomas Nathan. Recycled off the block to Aninga to Miller on the slide. Finds the sharp cross court and gets the kill. The slide from Miller has been working all day. Stanford will need to adjust their block in order to able to slow that one down as Thomas Nathan goes back to the service line for USC. Stanford still on top, 22-13. Trickles off the tape. Ogilvy handles it though. Baird, sharp cross court. Galatrubin was there but can't quite handle the heat. Give Katie Baird the kill. Stanford 2 points away from closing out this set. They lead it 23-13 as Anna Pringle checks in to serve for the Cardinal. Anchoring in USC serve receive is Thomas Nathan, Snook, and Trubent. This one handled by Snook to Aninga to Weejay. That ball is long. No touch. So Stanford has set point here in this second set at 24-13. The Cardinal fans in the building on their feet. This one handled by Thomas Nathan. Overpass. But to Aninga up against Baird wins that one. To Aninga strong at the net. Trojans not out of it yet. They trail 14-24 though. So Galatrubin at the line now for USC. Handled by Baird. Minor. Good bump set out to Baird. Rolling. Picked up by Thomas Nathan to Aninga. Bump set to Weejay. Sharp cross court. That ball is hit wide. Set 2 goes to Stanford 25-14 after USC took the first set 28-26. On the match, Stanford being rather contained in hitting percentage, only hitting .230. USC even below that, 105. And so we're looking at
an advocacy. If you would like to become involved or would like to help support their efforts, go to www.sfaf.org. That's www.sfaf.org.
The Search Dog Foundation recruits dogs who have been rescued from abuse or abandonment, gives them professional training, and partners them with firefighters to find people trapped in the wreckage of natural disasters or accidents. If you would like to support their efforts, become a volunteer, or nominate a dog, please visit them online at www.searchdogfoundation.org. That's www.searchdogfoundation.org.
As a doctor, I've seen too many women with breast cancer who could have avoided extensive treatment or even death had they just gotten an annual mammogram. Every major medical organization experienced in breast cancer recommends annual mammograms for women 40 and older. Please, if you're 40 or older, get a mammogram every year. If you have a family history or other risk factors, talk to your doctor about what's right for you. To find an accredited center, visit mammography-saves-lives.org.
The World Wildlife Fund invites you to join with 5 million other committed and concerned individuals who want to save endangered species and the wild places that are so vital to our planet's health and survival. For information about becoming a member of WWF or to learn more about their programs, please visit wwf.org. Hey, keep it down out there. That's wwf.org.
Skin cancer is a serious and growing public health issue. In the United States alone, someone is diagnosed with melanoma every 10 minutes, and someone else dies of it every hour. However, it is one of the most preventable types of cancer. In fact, almost all skin cancer is preventable with proper precautions. To find out how you can protect you and your family from skin cancer, please visit www.skincancer.org. That's www.skincancer.org.
Back to action here in the Galen Center as we have just got done honoring the 2003 national champions for USC. Star-studded with players like April Ross, Olympian. Quick recap as we head into this third set. USC won the first set in OT 28-26. Stanford won the second set 25-14. So we're tied at a set apiece here in Los Angeles. Each team eager to go up with the 2-1 advantage over the other. And we got a good crowd here in the Galen Center. Fans on their feet. They're excited about this one. USC with the prospect of upsetting number 2 Stanford. Stanford can win the Pac-12 championship outright here with the win against this Trojan squad. We'll see who is able to accomplish what here, as it'll be Katie Baird starting at the service line for the Cardinal. 6'3" redshirt senior from Indianapolis, Indiana. Handled by Weejay, almost an ace. Williams tipping. First contact handled by Minor. Ogilvy bumps that to Kip. Off the block. Recycled by Minor. Tough chance for Elia Rubin with the bump set from Ogilvy. That ball was basically at the antenna. She tries to take a swing at it anyways. It goes into the block, though. So USC strikes first there on the board. 1-0 over Stanford in this third set. Tyra Ariel with the serve. Handled by the middle blocker, Vicini. USC plays it up on the overpass. Williams tries to tip it. Minor is playing some defense, though, there with the dig. And Elia Rubin works it off the block and out of bounds. Talk about Cami Minor, the setter, playing some defense there and right back, not letting that ball fall, giving her offense a chance to get a swing out of system ball. Her hitters are great. Elia Rubin able to put that one away. We're tied at 1. 1 point each. Ogilvy here with the serve. Tough serve goes into the net. She's trying for the hybrid side spin. Not able to clear the net. Gives the point to USC. They're on top 2-1 here in this third set. Each team with 1 set apiece on the match. Ellie Snook to serve for the Trojans. Rubin handles. Minor back out to Rubin. Weejay with an amazing dig. Second contact taken by Snook. Might have been a double. Recycled off the block to Aninga. Tries to bump set. It'll be a free ball for the Cardinal, though. Minor out to Rubin. This time she finds the floor. Or rather, Galatrubin was there, but can't quite make the dig. Either way, Elia Rubin has a kill. Brings the score to a tie of 2-2 in this third set. Talk about Lyndon Weejay with an amazing dig off a tough swing from Elia Rubin. USC not able to come up with the point, though. Kendall Kipp to serve. Handled by Snook. Overpass. Rubin puts it down. Kendall Kipp continuing her tough serving ways. She's been a rock star from the service line, acing USC, getting them out of system. She puts Stanford on top 3-2. Kendall Kipp, 6'5" opposite from Newport Beach, California. And she gets her third ace of the match, putting USC up putting Stanford up 4-2. Talk about tough serving. You got to have Kendall Kipp in that conversation. Her again. This time handled by Trubin to Aninga to Weejay out of the back row. Minor to Rubin, tipping, picked up by Snook on the line to Aninga. Out to Thomas Nathan, rolling. Kipp sprawling for the dig, tight to the net. And Stanford wins the joust. Cami Minor going up strong against Miller. Or rather, that point will be called for USC, calling Cami Minor into the net. So USC just down by 1, trailing 3-4 as Thomas Nathan goes back to the service line. Baird handles, tough pass. Minor to Kipp out of the gut to Aninga, calls on Miller. Block is there, though, recycled to Aninga, calls her own number. Ogilvy with the one-arm stab. USC almost lets it fall. Weejay with the swing, though, is able to sneak it in between the seam and the block and down, tied at 4s. What a play by USC. The overdig from Stanford was almost allowed to fall, but they quickly recover, and Lyndon Weejay able to get a good swing off of it. Registers the kill, ties the score. Danny Thomas Nathan continuing to serve. That one goes long, so give the point to Stanford with the side out. They're on top 5-4. Earlier in this match, USC winning set 1, 28-26. Stanford won set 2, 25-14. Stanford currently leading 5-4 here in this third set. Rubin with the tough serve goes into the net. 5-5 now. Gotta serve tough, gotta serve aggressive. Stanford, although they've been airing a lot, give that their 10th service error, not taking any sort of juice off their serves. They're continuing it. Galatrubin now to serve for the Trojans. Handled by Rubin. Minor. Misconnect with Kipp. To Aninga, has to play it up. Weejay with the swing off the block, dug by Baird. Minor to Francis on the slide. Snook is there to Aninga, to Ariel in the middle, off the block, kept up by USC. Free ball played up by Kipp, overpass. USC with the opportunity. Ariel sets up to Aninga on the right. Rubin is there with the dig, perfect dig. Minor tries to go over on 2, dug by USC to Aninga, out to Weejay, rolling, is able to find the floor. Very awkward rally there. In that set, you had Ariel, the middle blocker, setting up to Aninga, the setter, to hit. Either way, props to USC on getting that point. They lead 6-5. Stanford a little out of sorts there on that play. Galatrubin continuing to serve. That serve will go long. Racking up service errors here in Galen Center. We're tied at 6s in this third set. Each team with 1 set apiece on the match. And a Pringle 5'10" defensive specialist from La Jolla, California, now back at the service line for the Cardinal. Handled by Weejay to Aninga, to Thomas Nathan out of the back row. Easy dig for Pringle. Minor to Baird, tipping. Finds the floor. Kill by Katie Baird puts Stanford back on top 7-6. Back and forth set so far here in this third set. Each team with 1 set apiece on the match. Pringle again with the serve. Handled by Weejay. to Aninga to Ariel in the middle, dug by Rubin. Minor to Kip on the D-ball, and there was no block up in front of her. Kendall Kip had a wide open lane, and she took it. That ball is straight to the floor. Kendall Kip with a powerful kill. That gives Stanford the lead 8-6. Pringle with a good serving run here. This one is handled by Snook. Overpass, and Stanford almost had it blocked. They're able to get it over, though. Tyra Ariel is able to put it down, though, after they have to give a free ball over. And so USC back within 1. They trail 7-8. Mia Tuninga was a front row setter on that overpass. Went up with Bacchini, was able to block the ball. You got to be aware of that when you go up to put the ball down, that the setter is front row. They are tracking that ball. They will be there. Tuninga now with the serve. Handled by Rubin. Minor goes over on 2. Is able to get the kill. Elia Rubin easily handling the tough jump serve of Mia Tuaninga. Stanford is up 9-7 in this third set. Cami Minor now back to serve for the Cardinal. Handled by Trubent. Tuaninga to Weejay on the right side. She works it off the block of Baird and out. London Weejay having herself a match. Just a freshman. Brings USC to within 1. They still trail 8-9. Weejay with the serve, handled by Rubin. Minor to Kip on the left. OTT over the top of the block and down. Kendall Kip with the kill. That'll be her 11th of the match. Continuing to lead this Cardinal offense, which leads in this third set 10-8. Katie Baird now with the serve. Handled by Weejay to Aninga, out to Thomas Nathan. That ball is hit wide, no touch. Stanford with their largest lead of the set, 11-8. Katie Baird continuing from the service line. Weejay handles to Aninga to Ariel. And that ball finds the deep corner. Kill by Tyra Ariel. USC trailing 9-11. I'll tell you, Stanford keeps going after London Weejay in serve receive, trying to wear her down, I suppose, but she is handling herself well. Just passing perfect pass after perfect pass. Tyra Ariel now at the service line for USC. Tough serve handled well by Baird. Minor out to Kip on the left. Chips down the line, and that ball is in. Give the kill to Kendall Kip. 12-9. Stanford leads it. What a shot by Kendall Kip. But Brad Keller wants to challenge that. That ball was out from my vantage point. I thought it maybe caught line. It was an awkward swing by Kendall Kip off of a quick set by Minor. She had to really turn her hand to chip it down the line. And the line judge calling that ball that it caught line. Brad Keller and his bench disagree. So we have a challenge here. And as the officials deliberate, we'll go to commercial. We'll be right back with more Pac-12 volleyball.
Hi, I'm Jawan, sports announcer at KZSU. KZSU broadcasts around 200 games a year and on 90.1 FM and online at kzsu.stanford.edu. And we need your help. You can join KZSU Sports as a volunteer, and you could have the opportunity to cover your favorite sports. You'll be courtside with us or right in the heart of the stadium. You can call the action as you see it, or you could hop onto KZSU Studios and do a little bit of sports talk on the Sports Zoo. We've got lots of opportunities for you to help out. Just send us an email to sports@kzsu.stanford.edu. That's sports@kzsu.stanford.edu, or phone us at 855-723-9010. That is 855-723-9010. And keep on listening to KZSU Sports. We would love to have you.
The challenge by Brad Keller is successful. The hit by Kendall Kip was wide. So Stanford still leads, but USC within 11-10 in this third set. Tyra Ariel with the serve. Baird handles. Minor to Rubin. Is able to find the floor in the sharp cross court. What a swing by Elia Rubin on a tough angle. Stanford leads 12-10. The match tied as a whole, 1 set apiece. Ogilvy with the serve. Her serve goes long, frustrated with herself. She's trying to get down that jump float or jump hybrid. Side spin serve has not quite gotten the handle of it so far. USC back within 1 day trail, 11-12. Ellie Snook to the service line for the Trojans now. Rubin handles well. Minor to Francis in the middle, tipping, finds the campfire. Kill by Sammy Francis on the high tap down. Stanford leading 13-11. Kendall Kipp now at the line for the Cardinal. Snook handles the serve. It's an overpass though. Francis plays it up. Minor out to Rubin. Offhand. Trubin is there with the dig to Ininga, setting up Thomas Nathan. And she hits into the belly of the block. And give the point to Stanford. Thomas Nathan tried to turn that ball down the line, but Cammie Minor and Sammy Francis were waiting for her. They register the block. Stanford leads by 3. 14-11 in this third set. As the match is tied a set apiece. Kendall Kipp continuing the serve. This is an ace. Her 4th ace of the match. They thought that serve was going long, but it just took a dive at the end. And we have a timeout here from the Galen Center. And so we'll be right back as Stanford leads this third set 15-11. The match as a whole tied at 1 set apiece. We'll be right back. USC putting up a good fight against the number 2 ranked Stanford Cardinal, hoping for an upset, even though they're playing without their star player, Skylar Fields. Kendall Kipp has gone on a good serving run for the Cardinal, as she has almost every time she's been at the service line. And out of the timeout, she continues. That one will go long. Brad Keller doing an effective job of icing the server. Kendall Kipp, or rather, that would have been the media timeout. Unfortunate for Kipp, as Danny Thomas Nathan goes back to the service line for USC. Tough serve, but it goes long. Service error for USC gives the point back to Stanford, and the ball back to Stanford, as they're on top by 4, 16-12. Elia Rubin serving for the Cardinal. Tough serve, handled by Thomas Nathan. Overpass, almost put down. Kendall Kipp with the set to Baird. Tips it. Weejay with the dig to Ininga on the slide to Miller. And Stanford is able to keep that ball up. Gets it over to Ininga, out to Weejay. He's able to find the seam in the block, and it's down. Weejay hitting a low seam. Tuninga doing a good job of recognizing that Cammie Minor was having to come off the floor for that swing by Weejay, as she was the last one to make contact with the ball, being able to keep it up. USC gets the point. They still trail, though, 13-16. Gala Trubent now at the service line for the Trojans. Handled by Ogilvy. Minor bump set out to Kipp, and somehow was able to find the floor. Talk about Kendall Kipp. That was a blind swing. She out of the back row. A little bit of a trouble pass by Ogilvy. Minor just lobbing something up for Kipp. She knows what a talent she is. She'll be able to find the floor somehow, and she does. Stanford on top, 17-13. Pringle with the serve. Weejay handles to Ininga, out to Thomas Nathan. Long. Stanford gaining a lead late in this third set, 18-13. And Brad Keller wants a timeout, as the women of Troy trail by 5, Stanford leading 18-13 in this third set. We're tied at 1 set apiece overall. We'll be right back.
Have you wondered what you could do to make a difference in the lives of people who are poor or homeless? St. Anthony Foundation needs volunteers for several of its programs, including people to serve lunch in the dining room. St. Anthony serves 2,100 meals a day, 365 days a year. For more information, please call 415-241-2600. That's 415-241-2600. St. Anthony's is located at 121 Golden Gate Avenue in San Francisco.
Coming back to action as USC squad comes out of their timeout. Stanford is on top 18-13 here in this third set. After USC took the first set in OT 28-26, and Stanford came roaring back in the second set to take it 25-14. The Cardinal lead by 5 here in this third set, 18-13, with Anna Pringle on the service line for Stanford, the defensive specialist out of La Jolla, California. Lots of these Stanford players from Southern California playing a little bit of a home match here in the Galen Center. Pringle serve gets on Weejay, and it's an ace. Rare mishandle by London Weejay. She has been nails in serve receive all afternoon. Not quite able to get a hold of that one. Megan Verbeest, defensive specialist, subbing in for USC as Anna Pringle continues to serve, trying to shore up the passing. Weejay handles this one again, though. Tuaninga goes back to Weejay, hits into the block. Verbeest with the cover. Tuaninga to Ariel. Kip there with the dig. Minor bump set to Baird, chipping, and is able to get the ball off the block and down. Thomas Nathan almost made a dig, but not quite there. Give the kill to Katie Baird. Stanford leads largely 20-13 in the red zone now in this third set. Checking back in for USC is number 11, Caitlin Smith, as Danny Thomas Nathan, number 15, checks out. Anna Pringle continuing to serve. Verbeest handles. Galatrubin calls to Aninga off, handles the set. Long range set to Weejay. It is off the block and lands on the sideline, so it is a point for Stanford. Block by Minor and Vicini. They're on top 21-13 now, and Brad Keller wants his second timeout. So we'll be right back. Stanford now out digging USC 46-41 after that stat was just about even after the second set. So out of USC's second timeout, it is Anna Pringle, sophomore defensive specialist, continuing from the service line as Stanford leads it 21-13 in this third set. The match tied with each team winning one set each. Weejay handles to Aninga to Ariel in the middle. That ball is hit long. Stanford with blood in the water, or smelling blood in the water, as they get set to close this third set as they lead 22-13. Pringle again with the serve. And what a serve by Anna Pringle. That ball had so much movement and just dropped. Tyra Ariel had to try to jump in to handle that contact. Mishandles it, so it's an ace for Anna Pringle, the 7th for Stanford on the match. They're up by 10, 23-13. Weejay handles this one well. To Aninga, out to Weejay, into the block. And the Stanford block is just showing up this set. That is their 8th block of the match. They have set point 24-13. That block by Kami Minor and McKenna Vicini. And a Pringle continuing from the service line. Weejay handles to Aninga, calls her own number, catches the defense off guard, gives USC a much-needed side out. They trail 14-24. Mia Tuaninga on the service line for the Cardinal. Has that tough jump serve that Stanford thus far has been handling well. We'll see what it is here Rubin handles well. Minor out to Baird. Misconnect. Rare misconnect between Cami Minor and Katie Baird. This is their third season playing together. Cami Minor just pushing that ball too high and with too much tempo for Katie Baird. Unfortunate as Elia Rubin just dimed that pass off the tough serve of Tuaninga. USC trailing 15-24. Stanford still with set point. Rubin handles well again. Minor back out to Baird, and she gets the kill this time. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Stanford takes the third set 25-15. Almost the same score that they took last set with, but Stanford now up 2-1 on the match. USC took the first set 28-26. Stanford now rolling in these last two sets. They took set 2 25-14, and they win this one 25-15. When we come back, Stanford will try to close out the match in 4 sets to become Pac-12 champions. USC in a must-win situation to keep their upset hopes alive. We'll be right back here from the Galen Center after a short break. Fourth set on our hands here in the Galen Center as Stanford leads this Pac-12 volleyball matchup 2-1. They dropped the first set 26-28 to USC, and then have been rolling ever since then, winning the second set 25-14 and winning this third set 25-15. USC playing well, although they're without Skylar Fields, the dominant hitter, returning first-team All-American. Stanford so far being able to clean up in the second and third sets, trying to close out here in this fourth as we get set for action here from the Galen Center in sunny, warm Los Angeles, California.
If you're ready to get a win, I need some noise right now. Let's go.
Stanford facing USC for the last time as Pac-12 conference foes, barring a meeting later in the NCAA tournament, as both these teams will be heading to different conferences after this year. And Stanford, with the win today, actually has the opportunity to become the last ever Pac-12 volleyball champions. A set win here would do so. Let's see what they have in store as Danny Thomas-Nathan, 6-foot sophomore from Burbank, California, starts at the line for the Trojans. Handled by Baird. Ogilvy has the bump set out to Rubin. Takes a rip off the ball. Trubin is there in the cross court with the dig. Tuaninga out to Weejay. Recycled off the block. Trubin bump setting Weejay, tipping. Minor there with the dig. Ogilvy bump setting Rubin. Tries to go for the hands down the line. Misses wide though. So USC on the board first as they lead at 1-0. Scrappy play from both sides. USC coming up with that point off the miss hit from Rubin. Thomas-Nathan again with the serve. Baird handles again. Minor to Rubin. Into the block and down. Lindsay Miller and Mia Tuaninga were there. Rubin was not getting through that one. USC with the early lead 2-0. Seems they're playing with some fire here early. Thomas-Nathan continuing the serve for the Trojans as we go after Katie Baird. She does again. Minor sets up Kip this time, and that is sharp into the cross court and down. There has been no stopping Kendall Kip today, as that is her 13th kill of the match, and she is hitting 364. Just video game numbers from Kendall Kip. Stanford trailing 1-2. Libero Elena Ogilvy at the service line for the Cardinal. Goes for the soft short serve handled by Miller. Tuninga goes back to Miller on the slide. Blocked but kept up. Miller tries to set up Weejay, tipping. Minor has to dig. Ogilvy bump setting Kip. Rolling. Thomas Nathan there with the dig. Tuninga out to Weejay. Off the block. Minor has all options. Goes back to Kip. Works it off the block of Weejay and down. Stanford block, doing a good job of getting some nice block touches, allowing the defense to be able to make some plays. We're tied at 2s here in this 4th set. Elena Ogilvy continuing to serve for the Cardinal. And USC is called out of rotation. And so that'll be a point for Stanford. Mia Tuninga and Brad Keller talking with the official, trying to get the lowdown on why that was. They don't think they were out of rotation, but they'll let it go. Stanford now leads 3-2 on a rare out of rotation call. So Ogilvy continuing to serve. Short serve handled by Miller again. Tuninga goes to Weejay. With the large seam in the block, Lyndon Weejay gets the kill. We're tied at 3s in this 4th set. Stanford leading 2-1 overall on the match. Gala Trubent sent back to the service line for USC. Handled by Rubin. Minor back to Kip. Tipping. Tuninga's there. Verbees keeps it up. Thomas Nathan with the down ball. Baird handles Minor to Francis in the middle. Crossbody Verbees with the dig. Tuninga tries to go over on 2. Rubin is there, but Tuninga too strong. Gets the ball down. Rubin was into the net anyway, so either way, give the point to USC. They lead it 4-3. Gala Trubent continuing at the service line. 5'8" sophomore libero from San Diego, California. Short serve handled by Baird. Minor out to Rubin. Works it off the block and out. Gets a touch off the right hand of Mia Tuninga. Tying it at 4, bringing Kendall Kip back to the service line. USC serve reception will have to lock in on this one. Kip has been tough. Weejay handles well. Tuninga bumps it back out to Weejay. Into the block of Sammy Francis and Cami Minor. Tried to go down the line, was not open. Stanford now on top 5-4. Kip again with the serve. Tough handled by Weejay. Thomas Nathan has to bump set back out to Weejay. Tipping. That ball clears the net. Minor has to take first contact. Ogilvy bumps it to Rubin. Rolling, picked up by Verbeest. Tuninga out to Weejay again. And this time she gets the kill. Heard a collective ooh from the crowd in the Galen Center as that ball barely trickled over the net, and then Cami Minor had to make a play on it. Lyndon Weejay doing it all for the Trojans here as we're tied at 5s in this 4th set. Stanford leading 2-1 on the match. Mia Tuninga back to the service line for USC. 5'9" junior setter from Long Beach, California. Actually went to Long Beach State to start her career, transferred to USC now. Jump serve. Off the tape, handled by Rubin. Minor to Francis on the slide. Finds the deep cross-court corner. Minor connecting with Francis there. Cami to Sammy. She gets the kill. Stanford up 6-5, bringing Rubin to the service line. Elia Rubin, 6'1" sophomore from Brentwood, California. Tough serve handled by Weejay. Tuninga tries to find Ariel in the middle. Rubin diving for the dig. Minor out to Baird, tipping. Played up by Tuninga. Trubin with the bump set. Trubin with the bump set out to number 21, Emily Fitzner. 6-foot graduate from San Diego, California. Transfer from Indiana. And there's a touch called off that ball. Or the ball was called out of bounds. USC challenging that there's a touch. And so another official review here in the Galen Center. And so we'll be right back.
Stanford's Office for Religious and Spiritual Life guides, nurtures, and enhances spiritual and religious life within the Stanford community. At ORSL, you can find information about our diverse communities, engaging programs, observances, events, wedding and memorial services, and more. For instance, you can explore ways to foster your spiritual well-being of body, mind, and spirit. You can even join a yoga or meditation session, discover compassionate communities of care in times of stress and uncertainty, and forge a deeper sense of meaning and purpose in life. For more information on the Office for Religious Life at Stanford, please visit orsl.stanford.edu. That's orsl.stanford.edu. Stanford's historic Memorial Church stands at the center of the campus and is the university's architectural crown jewel. It is one of the earliest and most prominent churches in the West. Built by Jane Stanford and dedicated in 1903, Memorial Church was decreed to be open to all faiths and denominations. This philosophy would permit the church to serve the broadest spiritual needs of the university community. Today, you may attend a wide variety of services, including university public worship every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. You can also take a tour of Stanford Memorial Church to experience its stunning art and architecture. For more information and an online brochure, visit orsl.stanford.edu. That's orsl.stanford.edu.
The challenge, there was a touch off that ball. We're tied at 6. Is served by Weejay, handled by Ruben. Minor out to Francis. And Sammy Francis is called into the net. So now USC is on top 7-6 here in this fourth set. Back and forth so far for these two teams. Similar story to set 3. Who will pull away first? Weejay with a tough serve handled by Baird. Minor out to Baird, tipping. Tuaninga has to dig. Trubent out on the right to Fitzner. Ogilvy bump setting Baird. Trubent with the dig. Tuaninga out to Ariel from the middle. And Stanford called into the net again. So USC now up by 2, 8-6. Stanford up 2-1 on the match. USC in a must-win situation in order to extend this game, and they are playing like it. Weejay again. Baird handles. Minor with the joust at the net. Tuaninga long-range bump set out to Smith. Rolling. Ogilvy plays it up. Minor all options. Goes to Baird off the block. Ogilvy recycles. Minor to Kip out of the Bick off the net. Tuaninga out to Smith. Works it off the block and out. USC leads 9-6. Stanford running into a little bit of trouble in this rotation. Cami Minor having a little bit of an issue connecting with Katie Baird, it seems. Weejay again with the serve. This time handled by Ruben. Minor goes to Francis on the side, works it off the block. Weejay's there with the dig. Over dig though. And Katie Baird just taps it down. Stanford with the much needed side out. They trail though 7-9. They lead, however, 2-1 on the match. And a Pringle into serve now for the Cardinal. As we're wiping up the court here in the Galen Center. Making sure our players are kept safe. Pringle has gone on some good serving runs here today. This one handled well by Weejay. Tuaninga misconnect. There was no one there on this set. Free ball for the Cardinal. Minor finds Vicini on the back one. Almost down, but Stanford able to get it over. Pringle has to bump set Baird, who takes a rip in the sharp cross court, and it's out. Katie Baird not having the best night offensively. And so USC on top 10-7. And it's Tyra Ariel back to serve for the Trojans. Baird handles. Minor to Kip out of the back row. Off the block and out of bounds. Just keep feeding her. Kendall Kip, most of the time when her hand finds the ball, it's a kill. Stanford trails 8-10. Cami Minor back at the service line. That was Kendall Kip's 15th kill of the match. She's hitting .368. Cami Minor with the serve. Goes into the net. And so the Trojans will lead 11-8. Stanford will need to collect themselves if they want to close this matchup in 4. Go back to playing cleanly how they did in sets 2 and 3. Fitzner with the serve is out of bounds. Emily Fitzner, 6-foot graduate from San Diego, California, is in playing right side. Tulia Williams checking out. Service error there, Stanford trailing 9-11 as Katie Baird is now at the service line. Handled by Weejay to Aninga to the side with Miller. Tries to work it off the block, but misses, and misses wide. So give the point to Stanford there within 1, 10-11. There's a 4th set, Stanford leading 2-1 on the match. Katie Baird continuing to serve. That one goes long. Good call by Weejay to let that just sail long. Trojans lead 12-10. Caitlin Smith now at the service line for the Trojans, 6'3" junior from Laguna Niguel, California. Tough serve handled by Baird. Minor to Kip on the right. No surprise, it's a kill. Stanford trails 11-12 as Elena Ogilvy goes back to the service line. Elena Ogilvy, 5'10" senior libero from Honolulu, Hawaii, reigning Pac-12 libero of the year. Short serve handled by Miller to Aninga out to Weejay. Ogilvy there in the cross court. Joust at the net. Stanford with the opportunity in transition. Minor finds Francis easily, and she puts it down. Great transition offense from the Cardinal. Cami Minor connecting with their middle, Sammy Francis, to tie it up at 12 here in the Galen Center in this 4th set. Elena Ogilvy continuing the serve. Short serve again handled by Miller to Aninga. Goes to Miller on the slide. And Elia Rubin is there with the solo stuff. That slide had been working all afternoon previously. Elia Rubin shutting it down there. Puts Stanford ahead 13-12. Miller again handles the serve to Aninga. Out to Weejay. Recycles it off the block to Aninga. Back out to Weejay. Into the block this time. But it's out. Tied at 13s in this 4th set. Lendon Weejay continuing to lead this Trojan squad. As the libero for the Trojans, Gala Trubin, goes back to the service line. Tough serve handled by Rubin. Minor quickly out to Kip. That is just terminal. There has been no stopping Kendall Kip today. She is playing her best volleyball, it seems. And she is back at the service line now as Stanford leads 14-13. After many aces and good serves, Kendall Kip airs on this one to tie it at 14s in this 4th set. Stanford leads 2-1 on the match. Mia Tuaninga, the setter for the women of Troy, back at the service line. The jump, handled by Rubin. Minor to Kip out of the Bic. Kip covers her own shot off the block. Minor bump setting to Rubin off the block, picked up by Thomas Nathan. Tuaninga, long range bump set out to Weejay. Off the block, dug by Kip. Minor out to Rubin, tipping. Tuaninga's there. Galatrubin setting up Weejay. Misconnect though. That ball falls. Stanford first to 15. And we're at the media timeout. So we'll be right back with more volleyball soon from the Galen Center. Stanford leads this fourth set 15-14. They lead 2-1 on the match. Elia Rubin at the service line for the Cardinal as they have the lead 15-14 in this fourth set. Handled by Weejay. Tuaninga goes out to Fitzner and is able to rattle it in between the block and down. So we're tied at 15s now. USC not going anywhere in this set, hanging on. Wiping down the court in the Galen Center. Just like Stanford's Maples Pavilion and UCLA's Poly Pavilion. These athletes are playing volleyball on a wooden court, so making sure that the moisture is wiped up so there is no slipping and sliding. Keeping our athletes safe. Weejay with the serve. Handled by Rubin. Minor to Francis on the slide, and that is straight to the floor. Sammy Francis was one-on-one, and she won that matchup handedly. Stanford leads it 16-15. Anna Pringle checking in to serve for the Cardinal. Weejay there. Tuaninga to Ariel in the middle. Off the block. Rubin digs it. Long range bump set to Baird. Worked off the block and out of bounds. Katie Baird. They'll need to get her going here offensively. They want to make sure they pull out with the win. See if she's able to continue heating up. Stanford leading 17-15. Anna Pringle again with the serve. Weejay again. Tuaninga out to Smith. Good block touch. Pringle bump setting Baird and fires long. So USC within 1, 16-17. Katie Baird today uncharacteristically a little bit higher air, but she is still doing her job, getting 8 kills for the Cardinal. As Tyra Ariel is here with the serve. USC trails 16-17. Rubin handles Minor to Kip out of the Bic. Good block touch, keeps it alive, but it'll be a free ball for the Cardinal. Ogilvy plays it up. Minor, all options, goes to Vicini on the back one. Joust at the net, won by USC. We're tied at 17s. Ariel continuing with the serve. Middle blocker from Plano, Texas. And she'll get an ace here. Katie Baird just couldn't quite track down that ball, and it'll give Tyra Ariel and USC the late lead here in this fourth set. They're up 18-17. They need to win this set to push this match to 5, and in good position to do so. We'll be right back. We'll be right back after the timeout from Stanford.
King Jimison, sports announcer for KZSU. On behalf of our team, I want to personally thank all of you for listening and supporting KZSU. Broadcasting live sports is an incredible opportunity for us, and we do it for you, the Stanford community. We have to travel all across the country and set up our gear at hostile stadiums. We work hard so you can follow the teams you love. You can show us some love by donating. Just go to kzsu.stanford.edu and click the donate link. And keep on listening on 90.1 FM in the Bay Area or online at kzsulive.stanford.edu. Go Stanford!
Out of the Stanford timeout, it is USC leading in this fourth set, 18-17. Stanford leads 2-1 on the match. So USC in a must-set win situation in order to push this match to 5. Tyra Ariel, the server. Baird handles. Minor goes back out to Baird. Chips it off the block. Weejay's there with the dig. Long-range bump set to Smith. Works it off the block and out of bounds. What a play by the Trojans. Relentless. They lead at 19-17. They smell blood in the water. They're trying to get this upset against Stanford, the number 2 team in the nation. Baird handles the serve. Minor goes back out to Baird. Sharp cross court finds the line. Katie Baird registering the kill brings Stanford within 1. 18-19 as Cami Minor goes back to the service line. Weejay takes the serve receive to Ninga to Miller in the middle, dug by Rubin. Minor out to Baird, finds the deep cross-court corner, and who's heating up in set 4? It's Katie Baird. We're tied at 19s. Minor with the serve again. Minor's name hanging here in the Galen Center, as her father, Harold Minor, was a great USC basketball player. Minor service received by Weejay. Trubent with the bump set to Smith, off the block, and down. So Stanford with the late lead now here. They're the first to this volleyball red zone as they lead at 2019. Brad Keller wants a timeout. And so when we come back, we'll see if Stanford is able to win this set. Back to action in the Galen Center out of the USC timeout. Stanford is leading 2019, leading 2-1 on the match with a chance to close it out here. And continuing to serve for the Cardinal is Cami Minor, 6-foot setter from Redondo Beach, California, reigning Pac-12 setter of the year, and returning first-team All-American, leads the country in assists per set. This one handled by Smith. Tuaninga goes out to Fitzner, goes down the line and then registers the kill. USC needed a side out and they got it. We're tied at 20s. As back to the service line is Emily Fitzner, the right side. Rubin handles. Minor to Kip on the left. Weejay with the dig. Tuaninga sets up Smith. Off the block. Kip plays it up. Ogilvy is there. Free ball to USC. Played up by Ariel. Tuaninga goes out to Smith. Off the block. Minor digs. Ogilvy bump setting Baird into the block. USC leads at 21-20. Emily Fitzner continuing to serve for the Trojans. Rubin handles. Minor out to Kip. Dug by Trubent, but too much heat for that from the swing from Kip, and that ball goes out of bounds. So we're tied at 21s as USC makes their substitutions, and Katie Baird goes back to the service line for the Cardinal. Handled by Weejay. Tuaninga goes over on 2. And so USC is up 22-21 over the number 2 ranked Stanford Cardinal, in position to push it to 5. And so Caitlin Smith back to serve for the women of Troy. And it's an ace. USC pulling away. Kevin Hambly wants a timeout. USC leading 23-21 and good position to push this match to 5. We'll be right back.
The majesty of Half Dome, the serenity of a stately redwood grove. These are among the spirit-renewing experiences we can all enjoy at our national parks right here in California. With budgets tight, national parks across the nation simply don't have the funds needed for visitor programs and long-term maintenance. You can help by making a tax-deductible donation to the National Park Foundation. For more information, visit www.nationalparks.org or call 202-238-4200.
Galen Center gets loud. And it's an ace! Talk about clutch from Elena Ogilvy, getting an ace here to bring Stanford a match point. Brad Keller will use his last remaining timeout, and when we come back, we'll see if Stanford is able to become the Pac-12 volleyball champions as they have match point here in the Galen Center. All right, back here in the Galen Center. Stanford has match point 24-23 in this fourth set. Out of the USC timeout, it's Elena Ogilvy on the service line. Let's see what she's able to do here. Trubin handles to Ininga to the middle. That ball is long. And there was a touch, though. So give the point to USC. That was Riley McGinnis out of the middle. And we're going OT. As Gala Trubin is at the service line for the women of Troy. And it's an ace by Trubin. Unlucky for Stanford. The ball clipped the tape. And Stanford couldn't dive to meet it. So USC has set point. 25-24. Gala Trubin again with the serve. A chance to send it to 5. Handled by Rubin. Minor to Kip. Tipping. Recycles it off the block. It'll be a free ball for USC. Played up by Verbees to Ininga. Goes to the middle. Blocked. Recycled though. Trubin bump setting Weejay. Rolling. Dug by Ogilvy. Minor to Rubin. Is able to find the sharp cross court. Stanford staying alive. We're tied at 25s. As Kendall Kipp, Stanford's most lethal server, goes back to the line. And it's an ace for Kendall Kipp. The 10th ace for Stanford on the match, and Kipp's 5th. Kendall Kipp has been doing it all for the Cardinal today. And that brings match point. Stanford 26-25 here in this fourth set. Kipp with the serve. Handled by Verbees to Ininga, out to Weejay. Ogilvy digs, but it's an over dig put down by USC. We're continuing to play. We're tied at 26s. And it'll be Mia to Ininga with a big opportunity at the service line for the Trojans. Ogilvy handles Minor to Kipp out of the back row. She hits wide. The crowd here is shocked. Kendall Kipp with a missed hit brings up USC set point. USC with a chance to push it to 5. They lead at 27-26 here in the fourth. To Ininga with the serve. And it's long. So we continue to play. We're tied 27-27. It's Elia Rubin at the service line for the Cardinal. And her serve will go long. So it's USC. Set point again, 28-27. Getting flashbacks to set one. Hopefully it's a different result for the Cardinal. London Weejay at the service line. Handled by Rubin. Minor with Francis on the slide. Doug, nope. Francis gets the kill. We're tied at 28. Play on in the Galen Center as Anna Pringle checks in to serve for the Cardinal. Anna Pringle gone on some good serving runs here today. Let's see what she's able to do. Goes after Weejay. And Anna Pringle gets the ace. That's Stanford's 11th ace of the match. Talk about timing for Anna Pringle. She brings up match point Stanford. They lead 29-28 here in the fourth set. Pringle again with the serve. Weejay handles to Ininga, out to Smith. Off the block. Or she hit long, but there was a touch. So we're tied at 29s. And it'll be Tyra Ariel to serve for the Trojans. Handled by Rubin. Minor to Baird. And she gets the kill. Katie Baird showing up big when she needs to. Gives Stanford match point again. They lead it 30-29. Cami Minor now at the service line for the card. And it's into the net. And so we continue to play on here in the Galen Center as we're tied at 30s. It's Emily Fitzner at the line for the Trojans. And her serve goes long. So Stanford with match point again. Who is it at the line? It'll be Katie Baird. Crowd in Galen getting loud. Baird, big opportunity. Weejay handles to Ininga, out to Smith. Hit out. Was there a touch? No touch. Stanford wins the match. Stanford comes into the Galen Center and wins the match in 4. Stanford, number 2 ranked team in the country, over number 24 USC. They win the match 26-28, 25-14, 25-15, 32-30. And Kendall Kipp just came up big for the Cardinal. Had 18 kills, hitting .340. Along with 5 aces. And Sammy Francis, 11 kills on .438 hitting. Elia Rubin with 12 kills, Katie Baird with 9. McKenna Vicini chipping in 2 with the match high .556 hitting. Elena Ogilvy, 21 digs on the match. That's her second 20-plus dig. Thank you to Stanford Athletics, our awesome sports directors across the Pac-12, and most of all to you, our listeners. Once again, my name is Ryan Esquivel. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great rest of your Sunday.
Back here in the Galen Center as number 2 Stanford takes down number 24 USC to culminate a Pac-12 championship run. The Stanford Cardinal are sole champion. This USC team was gritty, fought well, down to the wire, just could not finish it off today. And truly a loss, no loss is a good loss. This is about as close as you can be to a good loss. The number 2 team in the nation without your best attacker, and they showed grit, man. This second unit they came in, I was really impressed. London Weejay held the bulk of the load on the offensive side of the ball. Caitlin Smith provided good minutes. I thought Emily Fitzner was sharp as opposite. Let's talk about this Stanford squad, however. Kendall Kipp with her sixth straight matchup. Six straight match with double-digit kills. 18 kills today. She was about as sharp as ever. I'm not sure if anybody could slow her down. Kipp was really impressive. What did you see from her?
From what I saw from Kipp, she was just swinging high, hard, and aggressive. She kept her foot on the gas the entire day, and it paid off for the Cardinal.
Yeah, and she was one of 3 players in double-digit kills for the Cardinal. Katie Baird, and Leah Rubin also in double-digit kills. 48 assists from Cammie Minor. She had a double-double with 11 digs. And, we didn't even talk about Kendall Kipp's pressure from the service line. 5 aces today. Really impressive stuff. 11 service aces for Stanford in the win.
Yeah, like I said, Stanford really showed up from the service line today. And there's a reason they're Pac-12 regular season champs right now. On the Trojans end, another thing I thought that could have been executed a little better was our out-of-system attacking. I felt at times we were swinging too low, we were swinging outside of the court and just not making those high-percentage plays. I think with the practices to come and the matches to come, that can get better and that can lead teams to edging these close wins. Like the Trojans won the first set by 2, they lost this last set by 2. It all comes down. It's a game of inches. And at the end of the day, it's a game of 2 points.
Nearly got by this number 2 Stanford team, or at least nearly they sent it to a 5th. Instead, Stanford earns the Pac-12 championship. A huge thank you to everybody for joining us today. For Evan up in the studio. Evan, you've been terrific all season long. I'm grateful for you. More to come from the Galen Center when UCLA comes to town next Friday. Jackson Reed, thanks for joining me. I'm Max Kelton. A shout out to Jeremy Wu in the process, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, folks. Thanks for joining us.